Hello and welcome to the G3 Pulse podcast. Joining me today is Max Meltzer, Chief Executive of Strive Gaming. Max, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We've had a couple of conversations before, as we were just saying before we started recording. It seems to be at this time of year for the last 2 years we've had a conversation, and each time there's been so many changes in the North American market. There's been so many changes to your platform. So as this is the first one that we've actually recorded on video, we'll kind of recap who Strive Gaming is, what you stand for, and then dive into kind of what's to come from the company. So to kick us off, could you just tell me about founding the company? It's been 3 years, as I say. How's the platform and the business model changed in that time?
Sure. So yeah, thanks again for having me here. It's been just about 3 years since the incorporation of Strive Gaming. The total focus of the organization is to be the leading PAM, the player account management system in North America. I think that complete focus in that territory and what's required of a post-password modern platform has really enabled us to secure many good customers over the last few years. I think most recently announced in the last couple of weeks, we announced our deal with Ballwin's Casino in Michigan. Fabulous organization, wonderful tribe, the poker gods, and really pleased with that opportunity now to enhance their offering in Michigan. And likewise, we announced only a couple of weeks ago our relationship with PointsBet in launching what they are looking to enhance in Ontario. So realistically, we've, and among a bunch of customers that we still love to work very closely with, like Desert Diamond, Golden Nugget, BetSafe. We've really established ourselves now, I'd say. I would say that there are, if you're looking at a B2B PAM in North America, you're certainly going to be considering Strive. And that is our complete focus, to try and be that number one provider and be excellent at what we do. So it's been quite a journey and been very enjoyable so far.
When we first spoke a couple of years ago, if not a bit more than that, it was very much we're creating this platform. Everything was ahead in terms of we're creating this platform. We know markets are going to regulate. Now these things have happened. How has the space that Strive occupies as a supplier in the North American market evolved as the market itself evolves and more states and jurisdictions regulate online betting?
Well, I think where we started, there was certainly more activity around sports betting regulation. Obviously, that has been the most prevalent rollout of regulations since post-password was repealed. I think the difference for us has seen more casino states launch, more mature operators understand what they actually require or need from a PAM. And that sort of opened up our opportunities, particularly to move not just from sports betting, but into casino as well, and getting to those casino states that have been regulating. I also think that we have seen a definite divergence from when we originally set up, where everyone was looking to vertically integrate. When we were originally setting Strive up, we were looking at lots of acquisitions that were going on, including DraftKings, of SB Tech, and so forth. People were acquiring source codes or whatever. They were trying to take it in house. But I think the last 18 months, maybe 24 months, certainly the last 12, there's been a pressure on B2C operators to reflect on their bottom line more than just the acquisition of players. It's moved to retention, and there's two prongs that have come with that benefit us. One is people start realizing they maybe don't have the cash or the liquidity or debt availability to go and acquire everything. So then let's use experts and outsource in an area that is very complex, which is the PAM. To be quite honest, you could try and take some more in, but PAM is a very specialized space and takes years and years to develop if you're going to do it yourselves. So I think that's meant it's more likely, and there's been more opportunity that we're seeing as a result of that focus on the bottom line, because more people are outsourced, and then also product becomes key, right? And then that's something that we, having such a good product, strong product from a PAM perspective has meant that people are starting to look more closely. And if they do see that there's a good product with Strive, rather even in comparison to stuff they might have in house. We see opportunities, people knocking on our door to try and work with us. So it's changed in the sense that we're actually benefiting from the fact that people are outsourcing a lot more and looking at specialized expertise, and people recognizing how important PAM is. We're actually, it might have been 5 years ago, even at the original PASPA repeal, it perhaps was not understood by everyone just how complex, but how imperative having a good PAM is.
One thing that distinguishes Strive, in my opinion, is the fact that you haven't moved away from the US. So when we had our first chat a couple of years ago and a year or so later, and each time you've gone, we're US only, we are about the North American market, I'm thinking, yeah, and then give it another year or two, and there'll be a newly regulated market that's just too tempting. Just like having a conversation with a slot supplier, and they go, "Nope, slots is our specialist," and then 2 months later they launch a live casino vertical, or what have you. So, forgive my cynicism in that moment, because you really have stuck to the US. What advantages does that bring to the company? And is that something that your operator partners really respect and appreciate about the platform, is that it is dedicated to the US? You're not thinking, right, Brazil's regulating, let's get over there. It's just, a money tree.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, the first country you think of immediately is Brazil. Let's get over there. I think that's exactly what we knew would happen, right, with other PAMs. And the point is that you cannot, if you're actually selling a strategy, you cannot be then actually just operationally or tactically changing it whenever there just seems to be a new market that opens up. That means actually you end up being sales driven rather than product driven. And absolutely you end up with an inferior product in the long haul, because you cannot maintain that. And it's certainly not a scalable way of running a business. So I think for us, and then also I can understand why people have made those changes to go and chase those markets, because you think, okay, well, I actually think some people think, well, look, the operator dominance in the US, particularly FanDuel, DraftKings, and MGM, perhaps there is just not enough operators. Maybe there isn't enough opportunity for us to go after in a market that is quite saturated. And I think that's an easy, I'd say it's an easy decision to go elsewhere and look at other markets, but also I can understand the pressures that certain organizations are under to pursue those alternative markets, but it's horrible for developers. If you're running a development organization, one of the things they talk about is this, like the sort of context switching from going from, okay, I'm working on trying to enter the Michigan state, or now I'm going to work in Brazil. Oh, by the way, I've got to fix something in the Netherlands that I needed to work on, and now there's some more regulation coming up, or complexities in UK or whatever. You end up with a sort of mishmash of a platform, and I think actually you end up kind of failing at it all. So yeah, our complete, North America focus has been just that. We know that if we stay in our lane, we're actually going to specialize in being very good at what we can be at, and that's being a PAM in North America. And that will ultimately bring the company to the destination of where we want to take it. And that will still have incredible value for our shareholders. And obviously that's my focus. And there are other opportunities by being laser focused that will obviously present themselves to us as we pursue down that route. And I don't mind if other competitors of ours want to go into these other markets, and that means that they're slower to market, or there's issues with their performance. But this is our focus. This is our lane. Obviously, you can't rule out what happens in the future, but this is really what we aspire to focus on. And we've got some great stuff coming up that we're looking forward to delivering.
Could you tell us a bit more?
So we do have more deals to announce. So, I'll make sure that you guys are among the first to find out. We do have certainly more deals to go for, and we are going for other licenses. We are going through the processes of obviously we've just got licensed in our provisional license in Michigan. We're going through our license procedure quite deep into it in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, and other states. And we just prepare ourselves to be ready to enter quickly. I mean, I could put out there, and if it was a big bold quote for myself, is I really believe we're the PAM that if there was a new state to regulate quickly, we can get this PAM and a new operator ready to market faster than anyone else. And that's what we're working towards, and ensuring that our product remains so that can be achieved.
So where is the platform currently live? Something you've spoken there about what license processes you're going through right now, but I haven't actually asked where you are live.
So we're live in Colorado with BetSafe. We are live in Arizona with Desert Diamond and with Golden Nugget, which is obviously part of DraftKings now. We are live in Ontario. That's with Betson. Obviously, we are expecting to go live very, very shortly with PointsBet. That's basically imminent. And then we've got other licensing procedures and some also hinge on either the operator getting their own licenses or getting live before you can actually get that rubber stamp on getting licensed. But we've got plenty of license procedures in place with some other deals that we have yet to announce. But that's kind of where we're at the moment. But technologically wise, making sure that we're getting the relevant certifications as well, if we're not already in labs, to be ready for other states when time permits or when an operator wants to enter. So that's probably more aligned with some of the other deals that we have set up coming forward.
There's plenty of tier ones that you've mentioned there, and many multi-state commercial operators as well. Sure. But at the top, you did mention the recent partnership with Four Winds Casino. Yes. So are your operator clients, are they predominantly tribal based or one of the big boys?
It seems mixed, right? I think when we signed the deals with Golden Nugget, with the likes of Thomas Winter, who's obviously a hugely well-established online casino leader, and we also did had the relationship with PointsBet, and obviously they've got a really well-run team there as well, with a lot of experience from market leaders. I think they can understand what we wanted to do from particularly around online casino, but what we could achieve with our own apps as well. And I think that this sort of relationships, these bases, these deals have helped us enhance what we want to do, and that's commercially. And I think PointsBet is an interesting one because we've actually got a unique tech set up there. We are actually integrating some of our powerful bonus capabilities and what we do there, and our integrations of game studios to link within their own wallet. So it's a very unique setup with PointsBet, and it also should be emphasizes to other leading operators that actually with Strive, the sort of modularity of the tech stack that we have, there is more than just what you might expect to be there, just a monolithic PAM, for example, basis. So that means that there are, even the leading operators commercially might go, okay, well, what is it we could achieve with Strive? And we're very open to having those conversations, as long as they're not, disrupting our ability to be scalable. But if they are within our modular setup, then we are having those conversations. And that opens the net to the sort of bigger commercial operators. And then for the tribal operators, I think it's a great opportunity to get a product that for sure is capable of competing with market leaders, any of the online casinos providers. We've got that ability for them to compete with an award-winning app, and everything that we build out of Vancouver in Canada. And I think tribal operators, Desert Diamond now, Four Winds, there will be others that we'll be announcing shortly as well. They've got a huge opportunity, great databases, very loyal customers. There is a space for tribal operators. I think I want to emphasize that as well, if there are any that are listening from these tribal nations. The opportunities there, you have these loyal customers, and actually that means your CPAs don't need to be as high. You've got a much higher player lifetime value sitting there. You just need to know how to activate them through an omni-channel experience, loyalty integrations, and you can create a very exciting experience. It's basically the experience you probably expected the regulators were hoping for, to see if for their citizens. And is this experience you could be in land-based and be on online, have the whole digital experience, where the customers can shop the brand rather than the channel. And I think that's what we are emphasizing to the tribal operators, and I think it is resonating. And so be it, because they have a great hand to play, and it would just a competitive market is a good market for everyone.
And are the conversations that you're having with your operator clients centered more around retention than customer acquisition at the moment?
Mainly they are, but I mean, obviously, it's conversion of customers is a big conversation as well, and looking at how you utilize cross sell more effectively. How do you convert them from land based to online is a good conversation. Even other conversations is how you navigate end users to playing more, learning more. There's a huge education piece. You know, our CMO, Jamie Shea, who was obviously VP of Sportsbook at DraftKings and launched in many states at the beginning, she always talks about the importance of educating the player. And I think that's another part of making sure that you have not only an app that's very usable, but also everything that you would expect from a top-notch PAM in terms of payment methods and CRMs and everything else in terms of integration partners, the right games, but also having the right tool set so that you can actually engage with customers in real time in a fashion that is directed to what they want to play and what they're interested in. And that requires quite a sophisticated setup, but that is the main focus of trying to get end users engaged effectively and really try and ensure that once they're on, they are being retained, and also not attracting negative players through offering the wrong kind of offers. So I have to say, what you find with our organisation, because we are probably, out of all PAMs in the US, the ones that have the most operator experience and most exposure to actually a diverse range of operators. That includes the likes of Jamie, who's well on the inside of what it takes. We're also able to provide more of a consultative piece. And obviously some operators might not want that consultative piece, but what it does do is if they do ever want a question or have a discussion about how they should set up technologically product or marketing wise, we are there to help give that guidance and support as well from a really good background. And I hope that adds, that additional benefits to not just the technology we provide, and we do see as a more holistic, all-round provider in the space.
And how has the platform itself changed since we last spoke? I think it was about 12 months ago. What changes have you made to it as a result of the conversations that you've been having? And also another note is that one of the things you didn't mention there, out of the customer acquisition retention question, was cross-sell. Is that something that's not really coming up at the moment in the US with regards to maximizing that casino and sports betting opportunity?
It is, right. I think Sportsbook is one of the greatest tools to try and facilitate cross-sell, particularly into casino. And I'd actually say if you went out there and interviewed, whether that's off the record or on the record, a lot of even the leading operators, and you talk about their PAM's capabilities to cross-sell within, one single wallet, within one single app, within, all that, you'll find that there are still crazily operators out there that have different app for different, whether it's sportsbook or casino, or they have to be whether, well, forcibly or requestedly logged in or logged out to try and process, and it's a very horrible experience. Or they struggle to be even put the wallets together. So it's a massive area, and that for us has been a real strength. We have set up and we continue to look at that. And when you talk about product enhancements, one of the things we do look at is what else could we integrate that goes beyond just the standard ecosystem of gaming. You have to look at what else. And I think North America is quite a leader in this, is looking at how else you can reward customers, whether it's worked or it hasn't worked. You have seen companies like Fanatics trying to utilize their fan cash and their merchandise as a way of trying to give back a more rewarding system that can push, and that will push and pull people across to convert into different ways. Same with DraftKings, even if they tried the NFT marketplace, etc. There are ways where we believe some things will work, some things won't work, but you need to have a PAM that actually can plug all of those elements in, and then you can cross sell them and reward them in a multifaceted way. And that is one of the key points when you talk about product that we've been really focusing on, because I do believe that's where we will be going, and where you combine that where you can with omni-channel opportunities as well. So you're cross-selling about across channels and across different verticals. You're hitting a sweet spot, and it's hard. No one's really completely nailed that spot yet, but you know that when you read the annual reports of different operators, they are trying to achieve that. But there are obviously other complexities about what they can do as a result of whatever market access deals, or whether it's a result of the relationships that they hold in terms of what they can actually reward or brand as their own. That's it. But that's what the kind of stuff we're focusing on, and just ensuring that anything that's real time and automated and relating to data is continually being enhanced. That's been a key focus for us.
When you established Strive, you said that your ultimate vision for the company was that the platform would be built to facilitate everything that a customer can do within a business, not just in the gaming space. Kind of what steps are you going to take this year and in the coming years to achieve that vision?
But I mean, what we'd like to see is more operators taking the opportunity to want to integrate with those kind of providers or opportunities to try and merge that into the PAM. Obviously, we've got to be operator-led. We're not going to force people to take anything. We never do. We keep agnostic. The same like with our sportsbook options. I think we've got more sportsbook integrated to us than any other PAM. You choose, but that's what we'd like to. If I was encouraging operators, is to try and get them to have that full ecosystem that may be beyond their gaming verticals that they would standardly expect. But that would be something that I'd be trying to push people down, because I do think it's hugely beneficial for end users. So that would be part of our strategy for sure this year.
And finally, about ICE. Can't have a podcast in January without talking about ICE in February. Will you be at the event? And obviously, as we've just discussed throughout the podcast, the North American market is Strive Gaming. But is ICE a big event for you? Has it proven successful in recent years in terms of facilitating business deals?
So, ICE is still very valid for us. For sure, I can't say it's as important as G2E. But Clarion do a good job of making sure that there is such an attendance that you're always going to have very productive meetings nonetheless. Important for us is getting around and meeting all of our vendors that we integrate and work with very closely. We obviously want to make sure that we have opportunities to integrate games and have other opportunities as quickly as anyone else. So we'll be holding those conversations. And we do find it great to meet with the general ecosystem, and there are always opportunities to push things forward. So ICE is very exciting. Obviously, it's the last time it's in London, but Barcelona is not a bad shout for next year. So happy to be going there. But ICE just always remains one that you have to attend, just from a global perspective, and it's a great opportunity to meet everyone. So we're looking forward to it, and obviously we'll be celebrating a little bit around the 3 years since incorporation for Strive, and cheersing some of the customers that we have signed, and meeting some customers that we're continuing to work very hard with. And we're looking forward to it.
Will you be taking a booth or a stand, or is it just a case of walking the floor?
It's like maybe one day we'll invest in booths, but you gotta recognize for us, like as a PAM in North America, you kind of know who your audience is, your addressable market. There's not going to be a major operator or tribe that you weren't aware of that's going to come out of the woodwork. So we tend to try and organise meetings well in advance and take them privately. But having said that, if I've missed something, if I've missed talking to someone and someone is attending ICE, I'd love them to reach out and have a conversation, because that's what we're looking to do, just fill up the diary, really have good worthwhile meetings and all the rest. But maybe in the future there'd be a booth. But also sometimes I say Pan doesn't look that sexy to put up on a big screen and stuff like that, and show off the back end and all of this stuff. But having said that, people internally in my product team tell me how good our back end looks and all the rest. But I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's worth our time at the moment to be investing in a booth. But maybe one day in the future.
Oh, Max, thank you very much. Hopefully we get to catch up in person at ICE. Appreciate you taking the time out.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want to watch more, why not subscribe to our channel somewhere here.